then just kind of kept talking.
What other stuff did you guys talk about?
Life and just, well, if we're going back to him, there was other party that we were going to, and it was actually other was friends of friends of friends. Okay, so our friends were having a party, and they were fire department people.
Oh.
And so that's what started it. I mean, that's how I gave him my phone number, and I said, "Oh, do you know this couple?" And he said, "Oh yeah, I think so. Like, are you going to that party kind of thing?" And then he's like, "Well, maybe I'll see you there. Like, what's your number?" And I had never given out my number to like a stranger before, and I did. I instantly like felt it was like, oh my gosh. And I had thought prior to that I had mentioned Robert, you know, and I always do. That's like my protection, especially with other, you know, men. You know, like I always brought up Robert right away. So I had never done that before, and I felt bad. And but then he called and messaged me, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like I got myself into, so I didn't answer it or respond. And he apologized. He was like, "Are you married? I'm so sorry." And then I put, "Yeah, I thought that you knew that. It's no problem. It's okay." And that's how that started.
So you gave me your phone number. And you guys never talked about you being married? Because you guys talk about life. But do you think...
Well, this was in the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah. And then that's when we started, you know, talking about life and more, you know, like a friendship, you know.
Did you feel guilty about that?
You know, the funny thing, after I told him I was married, he was sincerely, like, sorry. And I felt bad too. I was just like, oh yeah, no worries. It's okay. It's all good. I didn't feel that bad because I'm social. I talk to a lot of people, and Rob and I were open. Like Rob was pretty casual with me and my relationship with others.
So he was pretty secure. And he wasn't an insecure type. And how often did you come into the Costco?
Came in quite a bit.
In Victorville? Like quite a bit, like as in once a week, twice a week?
Twice, 3 times a week maybe.
I go to Costco once in a month and I'm like, you know. So, okay. He was there obviously to see you. He wanted to talk to you. So after you gave him the phone number for the first time, and he knew that you were married, how much did you guys talk after that? How frequently?
It wasn't a lot in the beginning, you know, and then we just started talking a lot more.
Okay.
You know.
All right. Now
We formed a relationship.
Okay. Like talking in person and on the phone and stuff like that. How about any meetings after work? Did you ever meet with them after work?
I would see him, yeah. But just for short, you know, just... So, a lot of times he'd come in later and then end up, like, walking out with me, kind of thing.
Okay.
So.
Now, so he would come visit you, you got to talk there, and then he'd walk you out to the car or whatever. So, at what point did it become a sexual relationship?
A year later. So we talked for...
2014? So this year?
Before that.
If you met him in 2013...
Probably, let's say... Probably talked for like... I am honestly super bad with time and dates.
Okay.
Let's just round about 8 months maybe. Or over 6 months or something like that. Like it wasn't right away, anything like that, you know. It was,
She's here real quick. We'll do this real quick and then we'll finish.
okay.
I wrote a little note so I remember where we were at.
Okay.
So you said it was about 8 months to a year, and then
6 months.
I'm sorry.
Maybe 6 months.
Maybe 6 months.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Because that's when it started to become a sexual relationship. Did you guys have a relationship at your house, or was it at Costco, or was it at a hotel?
It was at our house, and sometimes, you know, wherever.
Okay. And how often did you guys meet up?
A couple times a week,
Okay. And so this was 6 months after. I'm sorry.
sometimes not. Sometimes like once a week or
Just what was happening.
yeah.
Okay. So this was 6 months after you met, or okay. So you met in maybe early 2013. I'm sorry, 2014 this year, right?
No, it's been over a year. So probably like a year and a half time.
Because at the end of 2012 is right when you met him, early 2013. Okay. So mid 2013. Now, basic friendship relationship, sexual relationship, maybe once or twice a week. And then, I mean, and obviously this relationship goes on and on. You guys talk about all kinds of stuff, right? Tell me about, did Rob ever suspect anything?
No, Robert had found my phone.
Tell me about that.
And he wasn't, you know, he's like, who's this dude? And he'd seen him out once before. He'd only met him once. So he was just like, you know, what's up? How did this go down? And I just kind of told him like, I don't know. It just happened, and Jonathan apologized to Robert. Talked to him. He apologized to him, and we felt bad, you know. And I felt bad, and Rob and I just kind of kept going, you know. And Jonathan and I stopped talking. And I saw him in Costco, probably, let's say, 3 months later, something like that. And honestly, detective, like I'm so bad with time, it could have been give or take, or you know, but it was a little while, and I hadn't seen him.
When did Rob find out, and do you remember when it was, what month it was? Or about what time? This is going to be in 2013 you found out, right?
June
of 2013. And what happened that day? And how did you, when you found out about it? What was going on?
he was going to have the next day off. We had been out the night before, and I kind of had too much to drink.
Oh.
And I wasn't paying attention to my phone. So we'd been out the night before, and he'd already taken the next day off, and he just kind of, like we had, I hate talking about this. This is why I didn't, I know. Like Rob and I just had sex. Like he kind of like forgave me. It was kind of like okay. And he'd ask me questions, you know, and I just kind of would answer them as he asked, and we didn't talk about it. He didn't like to, like problems, you know.
Now, when he asked you these questions, did you tell him the truth, or did you just tell him a little bit of information?
a little bit, not in like detail, but I would answer his questions, you know, and I seriously didn't, I was just like, I don't know how it happened, you know. Like I did tell you, we were distracted with so many things, friends and partying, and we have had open relationships, you know. I threw that at him, you know, so this was prior, and parties and just kind of like that kind of a lifestyle, more like. Now the kids weren't exposed to that firsthand. They were they were exposed to me drinking, you know, like too much. Mom's sleeping, doesn't feel good, kind of thing.
Right.
So.
And we talked about your open relationship before, and you told me you didn't have one.
I was straight, and I didn't want any of this to come out, you know.
Did you think this would ever come out?
I was, I've been tripping, you know. It's shameful. It's terrible. And I'm feeling it.
I understand. Did you guys have open relationships such as you would meet other people at parties and stuff and have sexual encounters? Or was it, okay.
And that was just kind of like a Rob and I thing we had years ago. There was this couple, and that's where it started. We'd never done anything like that,
right.
You know? And we were new to Silver Lakes. Robbie was in kindergarten. And yeah, we met this kooky couple. I mean, the chick for sure, the woman. And, but I am a people person, so is Robert. And, that was just a crazy experience with her and her husband.
What are their names?
Nicole and Jill. Oh. Have you heard about them or no?
No.
Well, they lived out there, so Robbie was in kindergarten. He's 11 now, so.
Oh.
But that's where the door opened, and Robert was. I hate to talk about him, Ellie, you know, because I don't want to dishonor him. I feel like this is such a dishonor to him. But
he was a man.
yeah, so he was all about it, you know, to the end of it, like whatever we had to do. And this went on, and oh my gosh, I've never had such troubles, you know. And I told Robert, like, we should not get in too deep with these two, you know. Well, they're divorced now.
So I need to get some clarification on a few things. Back before Rob got murdered, okay? But before we talk, I want to let you know that you have to be totally honest with me.
Okay.
This is so freaking serious. I can't tell you how serious this is.
Okay. I got you. I'm with you.
If you're lying to me, it's going to be very difficult for you.
Okay.
Okay. Before the marriage, or before the death of Robert, you guys have had conversations, multiple, 7,333 conversations. April 15th when you got the burner phone. Got that burner phone on April 15th. From April 15th to September 1st, there were 7,333 phone calls, text messages. I've done my homework. Okay? You guys have had to have some sort of conversation discussing your unhappiness in your marriage and your divorce or possible divorce, and then at what point did Jonathan say that he could probably take care of it for you?
He never said he could take care of it.
Never.
It was like, no, like we could be together, you know,
And
live for God.
So he said we could be together and live for God. What did you think about that?
I just kind of lived, I thought I would think about it, but it was like I was living like two lives,
So a life with Robert and then a life with Jonathan.
in a way, yeah.
And whenever he would talk to you,
I would go along,
I'm sorry, what?
we talk about things, and being together with the kids, talk about the kids, raising the kids, we talked about that a lot. How badly things were being done,
So he's saying you were a bad parent and Rob was a bad parent? Because he obviously knows he's 26 years old and you know what I mean?
He never, I felt foolish. He would never say, you're a bad parent. Rob's a bad parent. I don't think he would ever say that, but he would say there's a lot of, need for God in our
And that was his way in. He started to make you feel guilty about the life you were living, about not living for God. He gets his way into your mind and your heart. And then it makes you start believing this stuff about you, which probably wasn't true. Do you remember a specific date before Rob was murdered that he told you, Jonathan said we could be together and live for God?
Do I remember a date?
Yeah, like maybe how, like a week before, a month before, all the time?
More than we talked about, living for God more. I'll say maybe a month or two, maybe 3.
Did you know that he had planned to murder your husband?
No.
You didn't know that?
No, did not know that he planned on murdering Robert.
Because he did.
I can't. I think I want it to just be a lie. Like there's no way. I can't.
After the murder, has he talked to you about it and told you that he did it?
No, he never said.
Never ever?
He never said, I killed Robert.
Do you know that he has 2 firearms that are the same caliber as the one that killed Robert?
Same caliber.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
Same size bullet, same exact bullet.
What kind of gun?
Semi-automatic handgun. You use the restroom or anything? No. Good? You want to go to the restroom real quick?
I knew that Jonathan had to do
Tell me about that.
I just knew that he was a investigator for the fire service.
And what kind of investigations did you do?
fire investigations, but he could carry a gun.
Arson stuff. How long have you been doing that?
Not that long. He's new to the force, you know.
He's done a lot of research.
I doubt it. He has.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's been telling you all about my investigation, about how my investigation goes, what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Totally feeding you a lot of bullshit about the way things go.
And for some reason, it made me feel better. Like, I don't know why he made me feel better. He made me feel better just talking with him and just like, I felt like the whole affair thing was just gonna put our family in me. You know what I mean? Like I just felt like the whole thing was a fair in my head. A fair. And you go like that. I just thought, how horrible would that be?
Unfair?
Unfair, yeah.
You ever know anybody who's had an affair in their marriage?
Yeah, but I feel like it felt so bad right now but their spouse wasn't murdered, you know. So
right.
It was like, oh my gosh, this is like such horrible timing. This is horrible timing. I don't know why this is happening. I don't know why the timing is like this, you know. And then when you start feeling, you know, some, you know, questioning, and it's like, oh, you know.
I can tell you that.
So, and we have discussed it a lot, you know, kind of like what to, you know, go over and say.
Why did you discuss that? About what to go over and what to say to me. Why would you guys have to discuss that? It's just an affair.
Well, no, to take off, not to, you know, not for the affair to be about. That's just kind of like, you know, we've never had an affair. Nope. We have a great marriage, perfect, everything's perfect. And then we have talked about, you know, just the lifestyle that I led, but so how can I think about it? I don't know.
I can tell you that this wasn't about the affair. All these conversations Jonathan's had with you about not talking to me and not telling me the truth, that was to conceal him committing the murder. That's all it was. It wasn't about the affair. It was about him.
I felt like it was about the affair. Like, I felt like it's so amplified because Rob was murdered, and
but I mean, it wasn't about the affair. He's trying to tell you all this information and feed you all this bullshit because he didn't want it to be revealed that he was having an affair with you. Because he knows that you're going to come look for him and talk to him. You know what I mean? That's what this all is about. All these conversations, this 100 conversations you guys have had, you know, in the
I'm
last...
afraid that our affair wouldn't be discovered. And to forgive us for our, you know, before our wrongful, you know, sinful adultery and
murder.
Never did he. In fact, he prayed, I'm not a murderer of God.
Okay, how about Psalm 51? He told you about that, right? When he prayed for forgiveness for his bloodshed. Remember that? He talked about that?
For his bloodshed?
Mm-hmm. I think you were actually talking over him when he was talking about that. Because you guys do that a lot. You'll be talking and then he talks and you guys talk over each other. And then he prayed that God would forgive him for his bloodshed. I don't think you heard it. You don't remember hearing that?
No. No.
He was relating it to murder, not an affair. You know what I mean? Let's talk about last week when we met. You leave here.
Mm-hmm.
You talked to him on the phone with your sister in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Still a little bit. You're not letting your sister know a whole lot. I understand. And then there was another conversation you had with him after you and I spoke. And you called him and said, "Hey, we're good. I'll call you in a little bit." Remember that?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know about the calling in a little bit, what that part was about, but I just felt like I was just worried about phone records. I thought if you were gonna, I seriously thought we were getting arrested for an affair, and I know that sounds retarded, but it's like, well, what do they have really besides phone records? Okay, well, I would go back and forth, but then I just felt so, I felt guilty, for the affair and Rob being gone, but then hearing it out loud, doesn't even,
I'm sorry?
hearing it out loud, it doesn't even,
Sounds retarded, right?
doesn't make sense, but
Also, you guys had a conversation about me too. Remember the conversation? Well, lots of them. I mean, I came out there almost every conversation you guys have. Right?
yeah, I didn't realize that he was like, I never had said your first name, or I don't believe, and he looked in, kind of just checking you out, and
How did you do that?
I guess the computer, I don't know.
Facebook?
I'm not good on any, I don't do any of that stuff a whole lot. But, so, I was like, so I just kind of felt like he was doing homework for us, for the affair, so Detective Meyer wasn't going to,
It's by the book. Very precise.
cookie cutter, or something. I don't know, black and white.
So you got that from where?
I guess from the internet. I mean, he didn't tell me where he got it from. He just said he researched. Another thing too, he mentioned is an attorney. That's why he said it. You feel uncomfortable or whatever, just ask for an attorney. And so, I've never done this before.
And you.
And I felt overwhelmed and just like, well, maybe I should, just so I don't say something wrong. Because,
What are you guilty of?
I'm not an affair. Having an affair.
So why would you be afraid of saying something wrong? If you know that you can't be arrested for an affair, then what would make you think that you're going to get in trouble?
I I didn't want to put out there. I thought that in my head, like that's what I was running from. Like I don't want you to find out that there's been an affair in prior, lifestyle.
My husband is killed, and I'm worried about covering up an affair. There's bigger things than having an affair. That's murder, right? I mean, at that point in time, I'd be like, here's all my cards. I'm not doing anything wrong, except for having an affair. You should go look at that motherfucker. That's what I would have said.
My mind has not thought that big like that.
Yeah, I mean...
It hasn't. It honestly hasn't. It's like...
I think all bets are off. Once somebody gets killed, murdered, shot, no more, not coming back. Kids with no father. Fuck the affair. Who cares?
Yeah, well now.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would have been like, I need to talk to you. I got to tell you about this affair. I didn't do anything wrong, except for having an affair.
There were a couple of days where I had it so heavy on my heart. Just...
But you never said anything. I asked you dozens of times, do you have any information for me? Do you have anything else you'd like to tell me?
I know, I'm thinking outside of my affair. And
Oh no, I'm thinking about, tell me anything.
yeah.
You know?
Well, it was weighing heavy on me a couple times, and I did want to talk to you.
Maybe you didn't, but
I did.
how do you expect somebody to diligently be working to solve the murder of your husband?
Because I didn't suspect Jonathan.
But you told me earlier that you did at some points.
Yeah, but it wasn't like in the beginning. This is coming down to these photos and some of the things that have been said recently.
What's been said recently?
Just, it could be me on the video. It could, just a discussion like that in the past probably month, maybe 2 weeks.
How about when I talked to you, I can check and see if it was a text or a phone call. As soon as we get off the phone, you pick up your burner phone, you immediately call Jonathan, call me from the station, and you hang up.
This was just yesterday.
Yeah. What do you think about that? Tell me about that. Why would you do that?
Because of the John. I was like, would somebody, do you know somebody that would, there was a tip line, and then I'm just like, or maybe, is it a John? Like a random, is it John, or is it John, you?
So why would you have him call you from the station phone?
Because I was worried, like, thinking, I don't know, you guys were...
Taking the phone tap?
I was thinking maybe someone's listening, I don't know, it's just I felt freaked out, like, I did.
How did
And I
you
kind of was, like, but
You kind of
it wasn't you, right, And these... I mean, I did. I let him know that what I saw, and I let him know when we had conversations, and that he might call me back. And he said, just to not let you guys keep poking at me for.
So, that to me is very suspicious. for you to quickly call him on your burner phone after we get off the phone, like seconds after we get off the phone. Call me on the station phone. And then, you hear a clicking noise, thinking that I'm listening to your call. It turns out it's from the station. Apparently they make a clicking noise when you're talking on the phone. That's very suspicious. Like, more than just trying to conceal an affair. That's it. To me, that's suspicious until, every detective around here.
Yeah, well, I could see where that would be suspicious.
Just...
That's how I felt. I seriously felt like, I felt like this affair way, but yet I continued. There's really no explanation for my behavior as far as that goes. Now that I see it like this, it's almost like talking and kind of continuing. I didn't know what was going to happen after. I didn't know what was going to happen.
What do you think Jonathan's going to tell me?
I have no idea what he's going to tell me.
Because he's on his way here right now. What do you think he's going to say? Apparently he told one of the other detectives that he wanted to talk to me. What's he going to tell me about you?
Me? I have no idea what he's going to tell me about me.
You want me to give you an idea of probably what he's going to tell me?
What?
That you set this up and planned this? That's probably what he's going to tell me.
I can't imagine that. I can't
No?
imagine him saying that. No.
Why not? Because he loves you? Because he's a man of God? He's having an affair with a married woman?
No, not because of those things, because I didn't set it up, and because I can't imagine him saying that.
I'm kind of curious what he's going to tell me too. If he's going to tell me that you planned this whole thing because you know that if your husband's working for the railroad at the time when the railroad is on duty and he gets killed on duty, that there's a lot of motivator there for money. $300,000 life insurance plus another $50,000 plus the possibility of the railroad coming in and going,
No.
hey, we can pay you off.
Detective Randall Roberts, I don't care about money. Money. I can't even tell you how I don't care about money.
If I was in your shoes right now, I wouldn't care about money either. I would care about my survival. Not going to prison for the rest of my life. That's what I would care about.
Yeah, of course.
I don't give a shit about money. That's why I work. I'm a cop. I don't care about money. It's money. It does make the world go round, but it's not everything.
It's not everything.
So
we had talked about, just Robert being murdered at work. Why would that happen?
and you can see the way this looks really bad because you have an affair.
Yeah.
You have a motivator for money. Right? This looks terrible. There's a murder, continuing affair, and people lying to conceal the affair and to conceal the murder.
Yeah. I can see how that looks really, really bad.
Mm-hmm. So what's Jonathan going to tell me?
I have no idea what he's going to tell you.
Because apparently he hasn't asked for a lawyer. He wants to talk to me. You know what usually happens in these cases? One person tells me that, in this case, Jonathan's going to tell me that you started a whole lesson. You talked him into it. You know what I mean? That's what he's probably, that's probably what he's going to say. He's probably going to tell you that.
I can't, well, that wouldn't be true.
He's lied before.
I can't imagine.
He's lied about
I can't imagine him saying
the motorcycle. He's lied about talking to Robert 3 other times before the murder. He lied about murdering Robert, driving over there to Tashkent, committing a murder.
He talked to Robert 3 other times.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
He's a liar. But he thinks it's okay to lie because he's forgiven for his sins. He'll repent for the sins he's committed. He thinks he's going to be okay. No. It's not okay. You can't just go out and commit a murder and just think that you're doing God's work. Think that I'm doing the work of God because He wants me to save her from her sins. And then think it's okay. And that's what he thinks. And I wonder what he's going to tell him.
I can't even believe.
I need you to tell me the
You're
truth.
giving me the hard information.
I've given you a lot of it.
Yeah.
Well, and this is, I have books and books and books and books of evidence on this whole thing. I mean, I can stack the books up and they would stand as tall as you on all the evidence I've collected during this last 3 months in one day. Tons of it. You need to be honest with me. Because he's going to tell me. He's going to tell me exactly what happened.
Well, good.
Because you know why? Because he has to. He has to tell somebody this. He's going to have to tell me what happened. First punches, he's curious, right? Even minds are curious. They want to know, what evidence do you have to show that I've done this? All of our minds are curious. And he is going to ask, he's going to want to know, what do you have? And he's going to want me to tell him. But what I'm wondering is what he's going to tell me about you.
I know.
Okay. Why would you tell him where Robert worked at?
That was a long time ago.
Like how long?
Like probably a long time ago. Half of a year ago or so.
Mm-hmm. Why specifically would you tell him that there's a building in Tehachapi?
We talked about Tehachapi, and
It's right up the freeway.
he's asked me.
He's asked you, what do you think he asked you?
I don't know, like it was in conversation, like literally in conversation
Okay.
of where Robert works, and just kind of like,
You know why he was doing that? Because he was planning and preparing so he could be with you forever. He's planning this out. He was making this plan up in his head. He had a lot of pre-planning done. Like driving up there, checking it out. Go there on his motorcycle, checks it out, finds out how much fuel he needs to make it there and back. Force points out where he's going to stop at. This is a plan. He had a master plan. So that's why he talks about it. And that's why he had questions for you. Where does this place at? But I'm wondering, why would you even tell? I mean, it's your husband's place of business. Why would you specifically tell him that it's a business right up the freeway in Tehachapi? That's where he works at.
I don't know why
It's
I
crazy.
told him that. It was in conversation. I don't know.
You know what? I think if you would have never told him that, he would have never been able to find it. Because it's not on the map. You can't Google it and find it. I tried. He would have never ever known where that BNSF shop was at if if you wouldn't have told him? He would have not known where to go. You know what I mean? Yeah, why? That's what I'm wondering. I need more information from you. And you can tell me, why would you give that information to him?
Trying to think of a conversation.
Did you guys have any specific conversations before the murder, before the day of the murder? A couple of days before about him maybe going on a ride on his motorcycle?
I want to say no.
No? You want to say no?
No.
Okay. But he did mention that he could be with you, you guys could be together and live in my car. Battery's dead. He did mention to you that you guys could be together and live for God, right? Remember talking about that a bazillion times?
Yeah.
So you didn't think by him saying that maybe that he had intentions on maybe removing Rob from the picture?
No.
Why would you not think that?
Because we'd spoken of divorce. Like that was kind of, and we were just like living, just living in our I was just living a double life, And I did not know.
So you know that we have possibly heard some conversations that you guys have had in your house too, right?
Yeah. After.
That's Jonathan driving away from the scene. From the place on Goodrick, where the shop's at.
That's good. Okay.
Takes an hour to get to the pilot. And this is 1 hour later. On August, I think it was the 8th, Jonathan, he bought these clothes he was wearing at a Goodwill in San Bernardino. Shoes, pants, jacket, shirt. We found the receipt. My partner's talking to Jonathan right now. I don't know what he's telling. So I told my partner that once he gets done talking to her, at a point where we take a break to come in and everybody some information so we can figure out what he's saying. I don't know what he's telling. He told me he had a bunch of stuff down though, so I can't imagine what he's telling me.
No idea. Or he's telling him this?
Huh?
Is he telling him?
I don't know, he's going to come and talk to me. He'll come in and talk to us real quick. We'll understand exactly what's going on. I can't imagine that, it's hard for me to imagine that, honestly, that you didn't know this was going on. You know what I mean? With all this talk on the phones in your guys' house, getting a burner phone. It's hard for me to believe that you didn't have knowledge of it. You didn't know you couldn't talk about it. I mean, it's yeah. So you're saying that you don't know, you didn't understand, but it's very hard to believe, you know what I mean?
I understand that it would be, well, now that I'm looking at it outside of,
What I'm looking at.
Yeah. What you're looking at. I'm talking to Patrick, like, I saw it, like, oh my gosh, yeah,
What do you think's going to happen to you right now? With all this, everything, I mean, you think that you think you're going to be able to see your kids again?
I hope so. Again, this is detective. It's a nightmare.
I think Robert fell. His mom rushed my son to me, and this guy's got a gun in his hand. You know what I mean? Can you imagine? I thought about it a lot. Like what was going through his mind, how was his heart racing. He's scared. He's thinking about his kids, his wife. This guy's trying to murder him. For what? So he could have his life. This guy wanted Robert's life. This guy murders him in cold blood. Probably like, how do you think Robert felt? I mean, he had to be fucking scared. You know what I mean?
I just wanted to know if he suffered. He said he didn't suffer. I didn't know details of.
Yeah, I really don't know. I know that where you're a child was horrible. But you don't know what he's going through. 1 second, everything is cool. You're bending down, getting rid of the water. Next second, you're fighting for your life. Fighting for your life. This guy's gonna fucking kill you.
He was struggling.
Yeah, they're fighting with a gun. And then pow, the gun goes off. And then what are you thinking? You start thinking about your life. You know? Your kids and all this shit. You know what I mean? Nobody knows what Rob was thinking, but we can speculate, you know? He's thinking, oh my god, I gotta get this gun from this guy. You know what I mean? He paid cash for the stuff he bought because he knew. This is one of my partners, Detective Brewer.
How you doing? Kevin Brewer.
Hi, Kevin.
He was talking with John.
Yeah, and talking to Robert.
John.
I got a couple of questions for you. Got my kids.
So he is he's made this plan. So you think that, I mean, you tell him that, hey, Robert's gonna be gone, he's at work, it's a 12-hour shift, we can come over, we can hang out, and he's thinking, today's the day. I'm gonna take that drive. I'm gonna go take care of business so I can be with her. I can have her and her family, her kids. The saddest thing is for the kids. Horrible. Because they lost their dad. He was a good dad.
No.
Terrible.
Nice. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's my fault.
Sabrina, after talking to Jonathan and looking at this, I helped him with this case for a long time. It looks like there's 2 people involved. Did you? I don't think you pulled the trigger, did you?
No.
Jonathan did. What did he tell you that was him in that video?
Yesterday.
When?
Yesterday?
What did he tell you before that?
No.
What did you think? He told you that's him in the video.
Well, he hadn't seen the video, but he said it could be me. He said
What? How could that be? I'm confused here.
we just talked a bunch about, he's just said that, detectives can say and do anything that they want.
Did you ask him how that could be him in that video?
I did.
What did he say?
He said that there could be a picture of him at another gas station.
You asked him what he was doing in that gas station? Halfway to where your husband was murdered?
From what how I took it was like another gas station, another place. And I said, why would they want to do that? Why would they want to put?
Did you see the picture of Jonathan on the motorcycle?
Yeah, it's right there.
Do you have any trouble figuring out that's Jonathan? Because frankly, everybody else that knows him has seen it. I mean, you have to know it. We floated that to them. They've all had no problem with it. And I think you would know any more than any of them, really.
Yeah.
Do you have any problem with that, picking that out of Jonathan?
No.
Do you know anybody else that looks like that has a motorcycle like that would have a reason to kill your husband?
No.
Who else could it be?
No, that's okay. It'll be something else.
Hey, frankly, Sabrina, I've sit on a lot of wiretaps, and I know we've been listening to
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah.
I've sit on a bunch of 33 years in New England. And I can tell you the conversation between you two does not cover half my affair.
Well, that's what
You've already told people about your affair long before this. There was no reason to keep this a secret. Keep it from who?
I haven't told anybody.
Yes, you have.
Who did I tell?
You've told people, and so has Jonathan. What? At
Said
what
now
point,
you
at
know
what
it
point
not.
did you think we knew about Jonathan? How do you think we found out about Jonathan?
Phone records.
From what?
From phone records.
No, we have to have probable cause to get search warrants to get the phone records.
I
Told people about you. He's been told to stay away from you, and you know that. We've been listening to you guys for a while, Sabrina. And I know Detective Meyer is trying his best to get you to tell us the truth. And you have to know that. John was arrested the same time you were. We just got about him done going to jail. There's a great many questions that we need to have you answer for us. Okay? Tell me what I think. When your secret boyfriend finds out exactly where your husband is in a different county, 2.5 hours away, drives up here and kills him. What do I think? How in the world would he find out where that place is? I couldn't even find it when they sent us there.
That's my fault.
Absolutely. What's it look like to me?
No.
Let me tell you what it looked like to a jury. This is all I do. It's all I've been doing for many years. Let me tell you what a jury's going to think. The same thing I am right now and the same thing you are. We've got some problems. You need to tell me why you're not an accomplice to this murder.
not?
Yeah.
Because I would never want Robert dead. I would never want him dead. Ever.
Yes, you did. You guys have been talking for weeks and weeks about how this is God's will. That you guys get together and marry. It's all God's will. It's almost every conversation of every day about how killing your husband and you two getting together is God's will. Bathsheba. Did we talk about that?
They had said,
Well, tell me that story. Tell me the story
I
of
don't
David and
know.
Bathsheba.
I don't know that. I don't know it.
You don't know that story? He says that's our life, and you went, yes.
Well, whatever I read,
You don't remember?
no, I don't
He
remember.
takes another man's wife that has her husband murdered, killed. Because the people around here, it sounds to me like the woman fell in love with another man and had her husband killed.
I would never want Robert killed, ever.
Why did you tell him where Robert's at?
I was going to see him, and I would tell him when Robert was working and stuff, and
Why were you so worried about the DNA stuff he found?
I thought that was good. The DNA.
No, that's not what the conversations are. No.
Well, the DNA was a
No,
good
it's
thing.
panic. Okay?
No.
I can read a few of them to you. It's not.
Yeah. Well,
You talk about how good it is after you figure out we're probably listening to you. Before that, it's all panic, which is exactly why we told you that. Okay?
I just didn't want to be publicized as
No,
having
you
an
two
affair.
already, both of you have already told people about this affair. Why keep it from us? We knew about it from the minute. He's got 500 of your phone calls on his thing every day. You think we're not going to know?
I thought that I didn't know. I was worried about that. I know. It doesn't look bad. I know how bad. I know that it looks bad, but
I think his past looked bad.
no, I get it.
It looked bad for a while, and then it got bad because we thought the other stuff that you have to know. We can't tell you all of this. The thing's got to get prosecuted. Okay. But it looked bad for a while, and then it just got bad. And I think it's because it is bad. Okay.
It's bad.
All we talk about is this: we have to stop sinning, and you guys are still together. I'm confused with these calls. I really am. Do you think God meant for you and Jonathan to be together? Is that what you guys are talking about? When you're praying that the DNA doesn't let us find out? Would you want me to read that one to you?
I get it.
You're praying that the DNA doesn't let us find out. Find out what? If his DNA is at the scene of the murder, what am I going to find out? That you two were laying around together? I'll find out that Jonathan killed you. We already knew that. We had those motorcycle pictures long before you know. Okay? And we had somebody call us and say, you need to look at this guy right here. Months ago, not weeks. Because he's calling us up, trying to apologize for something, and we haven't figured out what he did. But he keeps crying and apologizing. Okay?
Get it.
Where's his tailpipe?
I have no idea.
He didn't tell you what he did with his tailpipe?
No, I didn't even know that.
You notice he's got a different pipe on the bike?
Louder. The exhaust is louder, it sounds louder.
I'll be honest, I don't pay attention to any of that kind of stuff. I just know the writing on the bike. That's all I know.
Yesterday, when I told you that the season just came in and we had a John, how come you gave me two different John's names?
Because that was John. Those were the Johns that Robert did.
Why wouldn't you just tell me then? I mean, you had to know that shit's hit the fan.
Yeah, I felt like, oh, Jonathan, okay.
Why wouldn't you tell me?
Because,
Here's the deal. It's not just about an affair. Your husband was murdered. That's more important than this freaking affair you guys are having. You know what I mean? Here's another thing. I can tell you, I don't care where the hell I was at. Day, night, whatever. If my wife was murdered, I would be standing at that fucking scene, finding out why and what, giving some everything. And he didn't even come out there.
He told us that we weren't allowed to.
I don't care if they told me I couldn't go out there. I would be there, standing there, saying,
Oh, I wanted
tell
to.
me something. You didn't? I don't care if they told me I couldn't. You're going to tell me that I can't drive a fucking catastrophe? It's a free world, I'm going to go where I want to go. And I'm going to go there and I'm going to talk to whoever to find out what's going on. That's suspicious to me too. And I know you're having an affair, you're living two...
I wanted to come up, but
You're living two different lives and stuff, like you said.
they said it was all roped off and they won't let anybody
Oh,
out.
I would show up and get my way to that crime scene. Find out what the hell happened to my wife.
God has a purpose. Sees all, He does. Knows all, He does. He has a purpose for us in our marriage. He even knew that Rob was going to get killed. When he told you that's him in the video, why were you not burning his phone up to tell you, I found out who killed my husband?
I mean, you said it looked like him.
Because your relationship with Jonathan is more important than your husband was.
No.
You should have been tearing his phone up. Jonathan just told me that's him in the video. Okay? Why didn't we get that call?
I asked her, I said, what
And you don't need to ask him anything. Tell me why you didn't call us.
He said it could have been planned, like it could
No,
have been.
there's no could. Okay? That's not, it's a glass of water. It's not a house, it's not a car. I can't tell you that, well, that could be a chair. It's a glass of water. That could be me in the video. What do you mean, it could be you? It either is or is not. And if he's in the video, that's the video of the suspect. We all know that. You know that, don't you? That guy in that video walked into the place where your husband was and killed him and then ran off. And he tells you that could be me in the video. What did you think? I'm more than confused here, Sabrina. I'm really telling you. I think you're flat in the middle of this murder. I think he's such a husband. I've had him killed by Jonathan, so you two can be together.
No.
I can tell you that's not going to happen, ever.
No,
Okay? You need to get that through your head now. You are not going to be together. You're going to end up going to prison for the rest of his life. And I've got some serious doubts about you. Okay?
Okay, understood.
There's no reason to tell your boyfriend exactly where your husband is working. Absolutely none. Right down to the building. What's the purpose? There can only be one.
No.
Tell me another one. I'm waiting. Tell me why you would tell him exactly where Rob's at. You can't find that place by accident. We knew somebody told him. Okay? And I'll be honest with you, from day one, when he told me about, I wasn't there to murder. He come back and told me. So we got a problem. It's a long time of the day for somebody to get burglarized. And burglars don't just shoot people for no reason. Okay? Something else went on. It was all fishy looking. It was real fishy to me. I said, somebody has got a relationship. We better start looking at it. That was 3 or 4 days after the murder before we knew anything. Okay? Because this whole thing stunk to me from day one. Somebody told him, somebody where that guy was at. You can't just find him. There's not anything to take in that place anyway. All those businesses next door have got tons of stuff that you could sell. Not that place. Tools. That's it. Train repair craft. You can't sell that. He he told you that could be me in the video, that should have been the end of it right there.
And then I told you that was our suspect, and you didn't say anything. You know what I mean? I said, this is our suspect. No, okay. Gigs up. That's Jonathan Hearn. You didn't tell me anything.
I should have told you that.
You should have.
The black helmet, I didn't.
He never told you
see.
with him in the video, Sabrina, you already knew it. Okay? He didn't tell you that, you already knew it. You know, day one it's him. You know how he walks. That was my brother in that video, I'd peg him in a minute. You know. And when we put the picture of Jonathan on his bike down in front of you, you don't need to sit and stare at it for 15 minutes. You knew exactly who it was. And you should have said it. It's Jonathan, and it's Jonathan's bike. Everybody else did. Why couldn't you say it? You knew it was him, you knew it was him on his bike. You know exactly where the picture's taken.
Where it's taken?
Yeah, it's taken about 300 feet from where your husband's killed. He's leaving right after he kills him. Okay? At what point did he tell you he shot Rob? And don't tell me he didn't. I know better.
He said that was him yesterday.
No. I ain't gonna cut it. Hey?
He never said he
You
shot.
think about 6 or 7 old ladies sitting on that jury, and this guy says, that's me in the video. Huh? And they say, what happened? I don't know. She didn't cut it. She still, it took us, 15 minutes into an interview to get her to say that. She didn't call us. Okay? And the prosecutor says, folks, that's how much she cares about the husband. Okay? Her new boyfriend killed him, and she don't even care. And what will your kids think when they find out? And the whole world is going to find out in the next 3 days, because all this paperwork goes public. Not a thing we can do about it. Okay? All kinds of stuff. Phone calls, everything. You want people hearing some of that stuff without explaining some of the stuff to us?
No.
Tell me when he told you he killed your husband. Because he did, and he told you. Okay? Or you knew it already. If he didn't tell you, you knew it already. And you knew it before he did it.
I didn't know.
Then how did he find out where your husband is to go kill him?
It's my fault.
Yes, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Yes. When he asks about where your husband is, what do you think he's asking for? Go buy him a milkshake? Say, hi, I'm doing your wife. Well, what do you think he's going to do? When did he tell you? You're not going to get another shot at this, I'm telling you. We're going to leave here in a minute, and we're not going to talk to you again. You'll want to, but your attorney won't let you, and it's too late. I won't talk to you immediately. We're done. We will take what we have and go with it. You wouldn't be here if we didn't have enough. Okay?
I understand.
Sabrina, if you did something, you don't want to tell us, you've got to now. You understand?
I understand.
If he didn't, if you never intended for him to go do this, and he went and did it, and you didn't plan this, and you had a thing, and you get scared because he's done it, you think you're wrapped up, I can understand that. I've had a lot of people in these situations, a lot. Bunches of them. Little girls that drive people, little youngsters to all, but I didn't know they were going to go in there and kill people. It happens, okay?
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that you're in the middle of this, plotted it, planned it, or anything else. He may have went off and done something stupid on his own. But don't tell me you didn't know, because we know you did. This has been nothing but cover up. Oh my God, I hope they don't. God wants it to be together. I hope the DNA doesn't. Okay? That's got nothing to do with this affair. What the DNA got to do with you two being together? And how are we going to find out that you two are right if all we have is his DNA?
Yeah.
Hey? His DNA at the scene means only one thing. That's a suspect.
Yeah. I understand that.
You plan to kill Rob?
No,
did Jonathan tell you you did it? Don't tell me yesterday again.
He never came
did.
out and
Yes, he
said,
did. Yes, he did. You guys are doing nothing but hiding this thing the whole time. Yes, he did.
no.
Well, what are you trying to hide?
I know, I know it doesn't look good.
No. There's a difference between does it look good and absolutely is not good. This is absolutely not good.
I understand that.
Okay?
I understand that. He never told me that he was going up there that day. I had told him, or Robert.
Why? We're still back to that, and I'm still sitting here waiting for a reason why you would tell Jonathan where your husband is. Are you going to come up with some answer between now and trial time?
They're going to see each other. So I could talk to him.
About what?
That's why.
About what? What's he going to say? I got to know. I'm sending my boyfriend to talk to my husband.
No, he never said he was
What
going
did you
to
think
see
he
me.
was going to do if he's asking about where Rob's at?
He didn't ask that day.
Why did you tell him?
I told him, like, prior in conversations.
Why?
He'd asked,
Why?
I believe,
Just-
about Tehachapi. Like, we just talked about, like, what Rob did and just talked.
You didn't know what Rob did?
Yeah, but up in Tehachapi as a responder.
Okay, so why is it important for anybody in the world, really, to know exactly where Rob's at?
Well, from your now on the other side, I don't know. You shouldn't have. And I shouldn't have it.
When you told him exactly where Rob was at, and Rob ends up getting killed, did you put two and two together at all?
Not at first. I was in shock. I couldn't believe what I heard. I couldn't believe that it happened. I didn't know what happened. I didn't know why.
You didn't figure out, gee, I just told Jonathan, who wants to be with me forever, and does not want me to be with my husband. I'm back to saying exactly where my husband's at, and now my husband gets killed in the middle of a Sunday afternoon in broad daylight.
No, I didn't.
It didn't dawn on you?
I didn't think of him. No, I didn't. I thought I couldn't believe Rob was gone, and I thought about our affair, and I felt I can't describe how I felt.
Okay, tell me anybody else in the world that have a reason, besides Jonathan, to kill your husband. Anybody. Has he owe money? Is he in the Russian mafia? Has he beat up people? Alleged rapists or anything at all? So who has the only motive that you know of to kill your husband?
The only thing I thought it was.
What did Jonathan have to gain if he killed Rob? What's the prize? You. Correct? He has you all to himself. Is that correct? And he gets killed after you tell him where he's at, and you don't put it together. I don't think you're that dumb, Sabrina. I really don't. No one's going to. They were back to you having killed.
No.
Because if Jonathan, if you don't suspect it, and at some point Jonathan's got to tell him, say, did you ask him, hey Jonathan, don't you think it's odd that after I tell you where he's at, somebody goes over there and kills him? For no apparent reason?
I did say.
And? What were the answers?
questions?
What did he say? Oh no, I didn't?
He just said that's crazy.
And you believe him? Enough to stay with him, you did. But make future plans. Start talking about how you're going to raise Rob's children with him.
I know, Kevin. I know.
ever tell you about the handguns he owns? How many?
I just knew that he had one gun.
Talking about a 45 again, 45 caliber.
I didn't know what kind it was.
And he's got one, and it's missing. Nobody can find it. Wonder where that's at. Same caliber used to kill your husband. The only thing worse than keeping the murder weapon is getting rid of it when it's registered to you. Not being able to tell us where it's at. Oops, I lost it. Oops, I don't know where it's at. Oh, I forgot where I put it.
That's what he said.
You know what I mean? You know how stupid that sounds? But seriously, that's almost as believable as I told him exactly where he was at, and he ends up dead in that spot, and I don't think this guy killed him. Did you tell anybody else exactly where Rob was at that day?
Well, yeah, I mean, being into atrophy, I didn't tell Jonathan, directions that day. It was prior, like we talked about.
How did you find him?
Months. It was months. I'd say probably months prior. And I want to remember how exactly that conversation went.
So how does Jonathan know he's there that day?
I had told him.
You told him Jonathan's attachment.
Robert isn't.
Robert's attachment working. And that day he gets murdered. And you don't figure that out.
I had talked to Jonathan.
And you don't bother to tell him or anyone else. By the way, the day my husband is murdered, I told my boyfriend where he was. What's it sound like? What's it going to sound like, Sabrina?
I understand that.
I can go on and on with this thing, and that's going to happen at the trial. But I'm not going on much longer. The rest of it should be one year later, and probably not what we should have, ever. Okay? If you have any part of this thing, and we all think you did, you wouldn't be here. You need to start figuring out how to convince us that you didn't know. I told you, he did something stupid, and you didn't know he did it, and you had nothing to do with planning it. Okay? And he says, sorry, honey, I had to do this for us to be together. Whatever he did, whatever he told you, you need to tell us now. Okay? If you're going to stick to this, yesterday he finally told me he killed my husband. Basically.
Well, these conversations have been the same, since.
No, they haven't. No, they've changed drastically all the time. The only major theme is God wants you two to be together, according to him. And God sees everything and knows everything. What did God see the day Rob got killed? Same thing we saw. His motorcycle, Jonathan's motorcycle leaving the crime scene. Okay? I mean, who does he think he's fooling? Who are you guys fooling here? I don't get it. He tells you that you and Kim are David and Bathsheba's story, and you agree.
I didn't.
You'll hear that again, trust me. That one was almost unbelievable for me, because that's exactly what happened. Exactly. For the rest of you together, one spouse has got to be out of the picture permanently. Now, why divorce was an option, I don't know.
Divorce would have been an option for me, not murder.
Well, then why did it get to this? Was it not an option and that didn't go over well with Jonathan? That's what it sounds like. I've had a few of those. See, if you won't divorce him, I'll get rid of him for you.
Yeah.
No. I think yes.
I understand.
If you won't divorce him, then Jonathan's got to go to plan B. Doesn't he? I mean, Jonathan's got to know where he's at. And he got that out of you. And frankly, I could sit here for 2 or 3 hours, and I don't think you'd ever explain that one. There's only one explanation for that one. It's just exactly what I'm thinking. What are you thinking? What everybody else outside the room is thinking. Okay? told him exactly what to do, and we're not going to do exactly what you guys plan to do. Just kill your husband. Shot him straight in the face. Okay? You tell me what Rob done to deserve that. Tell me what Rob's children done to have their dad taken away by your boyfriend. Tell me. What did they do? And who suffers? Huh? You don't. They do. Their whole life. They want their dad back. And who took them? And who helped them take it? What are they going to think? Trust me, Sabrina, I've never talked to anybody yet that thought they wouldn't get away with it, or you wouldn't do it. Everybody does. It's all well planned. All of it. All of the interviews are rehearsed on the phone with him. Yeah, we listened to them. They were impressive. I'm going to tell you exactly what to say and not say, and we're going to Google DNA and Google all this stuff to make sure that we're not giving them enough information to find out. Okay? But that stuff we already knew. Now, before this thing comes to an end, okay, I'm going to ask you one more time. Did Jonathan tell you he killed your husband?
He never told me that. Just admire it, just all led up to all the things that he'd said. Led up to that. All the conversations. Just not specifically, I shot Rob. He never said that.
What conversation is leading up to what? The murder?
No, not the murder. No, that conversation that day was normal. Besides,
So you're talking about the conversations that happened
after the murder,
and what were you guys talking about?
just the murder.
Hello. I think that a decision needs to be made right now. You requested this. You wanted to talk to Randall. We're 4 hours into this, and you haven't said anything different to him than what you told me. If you have something you need to say, right now's the time, because otherwise I'm ready to cut this off.
I think you guys,
You think what?
everything that has been said has been evidence that it's clear. And it's my fault for telling Jonathan where Robert was that day.
And it most certainly is. It is your fault. But, for the last 4 hours, Detective Myers told you that you're holding on to something. There's something that you know that you're not telling us. Right now, I would have more respect if you said, hey, I ain't gonna say anything to you. You don't like me. I know you don't like me. I'm good with that. You think I'm the mean guy. I get accused of it all the time. But it's time to shit or get off the pot. Okay, let me ask you this. You wanted to speak to him. What did you want to tell him that was so different than what you told me already? Prolong the inevitable? Sitting in a jail cell?
No. for not being honest with him. Telling him about our relationship before.
That's the only thing that you want to apologize for, is for not telling us about an affair?
Then it's my fault.
We've established that. And I'm not here to kick you in the teeth. Robert is dead because of you. Make no mistakes about that. That is something that you're going to have to live with for the rest of your life. That is something that your children are going to have to live with for the rest of their lives. No matter what happens now, little Robbie's going to know that Jonathan killed his dad. I told you down there in Boron, I could care less about you. I care about your kids. They didn't ask for this. You're a grown woman. You made decisions. And why you would tell the man, he's not a man, he's a coward. He's a scumbag. Why you would tell the guy that you're sharing a bed with where your husband works beyond me. If you don't have anything for us, I think we need to get you to jail. I'll take that as a yes, I do not have anything to tell you. Is that pretty fair?
I've said everything that we...
You told him the same thing that you told me, only I wasn't patient for 4 hours. I was kind of trying to move it along after about an hour of listening to you tell me that. He's a lot nicer than me, a lot more patient. So what I need you to do is I need you to stand up and turn around. Obviously, since you were already brought down here once before, you were told what you're under arrest for, correct?
Yes.
For conspiracy to commit murder and accessory to murder? Okay. Have a seat.
4 hours and 40 minutes.
So 5 hours you managed to tell us about. You got a second, sir?
Yep.